We're talking about Tupac and Biggie.
Tupac and Biggie.
East Coast, West Coast.
So it lets you know friends can become enemies. Tried to fight them off, but ended up getting shot 5 times.
When you have bad characters around you, you're going to do messed up things. But the people who are really making the billions of dollars, you never see them.
They're the ones who are the cause of the war because it was a business deal.
Well, as long as you keep everyone divided, then you could conquer all. It's like modern war time.
Every side has a story, and we're going to tell both. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rivals. What is Rivals? The Rivals podcast is a place where you can have your own perspective, your own opinion, but we're going to touch on topics that shape the history of culture and everything. I'm your boy, Chef Kev, and this is Fonz. So
Fonzie
B, Chef Kev. This is Writers. So our first episode, we're going to jump into something that I felt like was a huge culture shift, and something that shaped, honestly, the world. What do you think?
In a perspective, it did kind of shape the world. We're talking about Tupac and Biggie.
Tupac and Biggie.
East Coast, West Coast.
Take your side.
Where two people put a whole nation basically against each other.
They did. And it all started with, in most conflict, in most controversy, it always starts with some level of friendship and some level of familiarity. Yeah.
And betrayal.
And then
revenge.
And everything that you just said happened within a matter of for 2 or 3 years. Keep in mind, these young guys was no more than 26 years old.
23, 22, 23, young.
Not even able to live their life yet. So I hope this touches so many different people in different ways, whether it's the highs and the lows, or understanding taking sides is great, but understanding who you are and not letting the culture influence you, whatever culture that is important.
I want to get into why did people even take sides?
Yeah.
The phenomenon of that whole thing.
Yeah, let's set the tone.
Like East Coast, West Coast. You know, I remember at the time, the West Coast, I'm from the West Coast.
Yeah.
So on the West Coast, guys is taking sides against the East Coast, and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't quite understand it.
Yeah.
Because all the guys who were claiming, yeah, West Coast, are like, you don't know anything on the West Coast.
Yeah, and most of them didn't even understand the true meaning of what, being from that side.
And what caused the division. Like when you take a side on anything, whether it be East Coast, West Coast,
yeah,
blood or Crip,
yeah,
white, black, Democratic, Republican,
yeah,
right? It causes division, and there's somebody at the top who's cashing in on that.
Name of the strings.
And everybody fell into that trap. And it was a shame that these two young brothers fell into it and ultimately lost their lives because of it.
So look, every side has a story, and we're going to tell both. So jumping into the background, where Pop grew up, from his struggles to the music. Talk to, tell the people a little bit about, I'll let you go with Pac's side. I'm taking Biggie. So this was Rivals about.
I'm not taking any side.
All right. So my perspective is going to come from both, but I'm going to be more on the Biggie side. I'm a Pac fan for the sake of this episode.
Pac grew up in New York, from what I understand.
Yep.
Born there. And then he moved to Oakland.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about his young childhood, but I do know that I did spend the day with him at Mount Town.
Okay.
Because I'm from the Bay, and I was going to school. I was going to transfer from Jefferson to Mount Town Pius, and we went to school together for one day.
Wow.
And the story goes, about 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm walking across the field, and this little skinny black dude ran up to me. He was sitting in the bleachers, him and this other dude. And you got to understand, Mount Tam is mostly a white, affluent
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
Right? So when I saw this little black, I'm like, who is this kid running up to me? And he goes, yo, come here. You know, he said, I said, what's your name? He didn't say his name was Pac at the time. He said his name was like Hoss.
Yeah. Because I think that was around the time before he got with Digital Underground.
Yeah, this was before he got with Digital Underground.
Yeah.
His name was Hoss.
So he ain't had the identity yet.
No. But the long story short is he rhymed to me all day long. All day long. He's like, man, you know, and even then, a lot of people would tell you that Pac was a guy who invited you in. Like, he wanted to see you do good. He was like that.
Yeah.
You know, because his parents were like black parents. So he was all about unity.
Yeah.
So that's why the whole thing with the Biggie thing is kind of wild.
But you know what? That's how they became friends, because in 1993, when Biggie came to LA, he was just trying to get into the game. Pac had just dropped his first 2 albums.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, Pac was Rolexes and all kinds of stuff. And then Biggie was looking to get into that lifestyle. So Pac took him in and took him under his wing. He offered to actually manage Biggie, and Pac said no. Well, no, Biggie asked Pac to manage him, and Pac was like, nah, man, then he will make you a star. Which he did, but I feel like that created the distance, because when Biggie would come to LA, he would sleep on Pac's couch because he didn't have all the things that Pac had. And that's how they became friends. And he would come, they would shoot, they would go in the studio. They actually recorded 2 songs together. And those songs that
We know Pac is on that first song.
Yeah.
Juicy. People don't know that. That voice in the beginning,
yeah.
that's Tupac.
See, because they was always together.
Yeah.
So it lets you know friends can become enemies with the matter of, we'll go into those stories, but within
Become
a matter of minutes for no reason. And then that brings rivals.
Yeah.
So that brings us to where we are here. So the storytelling flow of Biggie is what gravitated Pac to that style. We talked about the friendship and the mutual respect, but let's talk about where it went left.
Well, shoot, I don't know where it went left. So, all right, they was friends, and then they wasn't. So, although Pac thought that Biggie set him up.
Correct.
By Johnny Henchman.
Yeah.
But you saying that Biggie told Pac not to mess with.
Yeah, so Jimmy Henchman was the biggest drug dealer in New York. He knew Biggie because Biggie came from the streets. So that's where Pac got.
And that's who 50 Cent was beefing with too, right?
Correct. So there's so you got Jimmy Henchman, you got Supreme, that whole crew. They're just well known for what they do. So Biggie was more like in the streets, and Pac knew that. So he respected that level of who he was. So he was like, look, when you get signed, let's connect. Nobody had deals at that point. Everybody was doing everything independent. So Pac went to New York to record a record with a dude named Lil Sean. Lil Sean, unknown rapper to the world, but to New York, pretty popular. And they were downstairs. When Pac walked in the door, that's when the guys rushed to him and tried to rob him. Pac tried to fight him off, but ended up getting shot 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie was upstairs this whole time. Pac's getting shot. Biggie's upstairs. Pac didn't know that at this point. He went to the hospital. Right after Pac got shot, he caught the case with the girl.
Yeah.
Went to jail. Then Biggie dropped what?
Who shot you?
Which, if you were in jail and we were in the same situation and I dropped a song called Who Shot You and you got shot like 6 months ago,
It's
beef.
Yeah.
It's a rival at that point.
It's a conspiracy.
Right. So Biggie said he didn't write it about him. There's a lot of speculation as to if that's true or not.
You know what's funny about that? Is that at that time, now looking back, now we in 2025.
Right. Wow.
You see what's going on with Diddy.
Yeah.
And what kind of dude Diddy is.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that Diddy had some influence on
Absolutely.
Biggie.
Absolutely.
And so now I'm pretty sure Diddy was like, yo, you need to do this. And
For marketing purposes, because Biggie wasn't popular. You got to remember that.
yeah.
But Biggie was about to drop an album called Ready to Die.
And not only that, Diddy doesn't have any, but now
He wasn't Diddy at that point.
no, but I'm saying he doesn't have any scruples. He doesn't have any integrity.
Yeah.
Like he's not a stand-up dude.
Right.
Now, back then, we saying, oh, you don't know that.
Right.
You know, people always tell me that, like, oh, you can't say that until after it transpires.
You got
So now we can look back and be like, oh, yeah, everything we saying.
everything people were saying, we're starting to see come to fruition, like in any situation. If you got some skeletons,
Yeah.
time will expose them.
And so when you have bad characters around you,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to do messed up things.
Yeah. Yeah. Influence.
Yeah. Unscrupulous things that people are going to be like, that ain't cool.
Yeah.
So I can see how Pac would thought, I'm pretty sure he had a dial in on Diddy.
He did. And I think,
Because when you first meet Diddy, you get that. Because I met him in 2000.
yeah, I met him
And I was not feeling them at all.
I was a senior in high school, so I'm 41. So I was 2001, I met Diddy. And I was actually working for his street team, putting up posters for Bad Boy. And he would jump on the conference calls at that time and go in like yelling, y'all need to make sure. He was that dude from beginning. So when I see what they show on TV, it's nothing new. It's like, okay, this is who we've seen from beginning. And I can only imagine the monster that he portrayed back then, how it had led to situations with Cassie and even 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yeah. What he was doing with that.
Oh my God.
I saw that in 2000. He was a weirdo.
Yeah. I'm sure you've been to some parties.
Not like that.
You didn't stay too long?
No. I left. You 12 o'clock, I'm like, oh, it's time to go.
You want to be in the big bed?
No. We weren't doing it.
So, the early quote, Tupac once said he wanted Biggie to be signed and successful because you made a good mention to Tupac wanting to see people do well. He loved to see people do well.
Yeah. I can do what the day that we went to school together. I remember I had to tell him I had to go talk to the counselor.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll be on a minute. Let me go talk to the counselor. I walked out. He's sitting there waiting on me. Because he was just cool. Like,
Yeah.
So I remember the basketball coach came out. He said, hey, this your next star right here. So he never seen me play. I
Right.
could have been a bum or whatever. He's like, this your next star. Oh, he coming here next year. He's like, you with us. You with us. I'm like, you don't even know me.
That's great. And y'all would have been around the same age.
Yeah, we were the same age.
Wow. 1970.
Hey, this was 87.
So, he was born in 76, right?
No, 70.
70. Oh, yeah, you're right. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So this was 1987 when this was going on. I think he was living in the jungle.
Okay.
That's like this in Marin, they have this one low income housing complex.
The projects.
It's not really a projects though.
To put a nice polish on that.
This in Marin. It's like having the projects in Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay. I got you. So it's
low income housing. Now it turned into
gentrified project.
no. It wasn't gentrified, Father. It was low income housing
In the
a few black people.
I got you.
That if anybody who knows the Bay Area and Marin, they know the jungle.
Okay.
It's right there, Sausalito, which is a very affluent area,
Mm-hmm.
and Mill Valley, which is very affluent.
See, the only jungle I know is in Compton.
No, well, me and my lady, we call it Mill Valley is the Aspen of California.
Oh, okay. Now I got the picture.
Yeah,
I got you. So, because I know where's near ghetto, just some low income house.
yeah, but I mean it's ghetto too,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like Oakland.
Yeah.
That's a different world.
Yeah. So,
But he was living there at the time.
So Quad Studios is the name of the studio where Pac was shot. So he blames Biggie's camp, and then it creates this media escalation of West Coast versus East Coast. And the narrative explodes because of the who shot you. But then Pac comes out with a response, as you called it, what you call it, retribution or the tap. What did you call it?
Oh, it definitely was a revenge.
Revenge. So he came out with revenge and came out with the song Hit 'Em Up.
Yeah.
And it hit 'em up. If anybody knows that song,
Yeah.
we mentioned Biggie's at that time, baby mama / was it wife?
Everybody.
Yeah, he went in and it was just completely like the gloves were off. It went left.
Mm-hmm.
So
More people end up getting shot.
yeah, so more people getting shot. And then we go into the most important part, unfortunate part of the whole beef or the rival, the tragic end.
Yeah. Well, after that song, shoot, it could have.
I feel like it could have ended. But there was one man who was like, no, should not. Because we talked about Diddy. Now we got the dude who goes up on the stage of the Source Awards and says,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want people dancing in your videos.
Yeah, that was the best.
And he dissed the entire East Coast in the East Coast. And that's when you knew it was, he turned the entire, I feel like that was the day that hip hop died.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think that was the day that people pulling the strings said, we got him.
Oh, yeah.
We got him.
That's true.
Let's do it and let's cash in. And even though, like, you know, maybe Bad Boy and Afro, they were making money, but they didn't make
the success they
could have money.
Yeah, yeah. They could have changed the entire culture and the shift.
You know what it's like?
Of hip hop.
It's like a modern war time, right? So you got soldiers going to war, United States, whatever. And you got people who on the outside are cashing in, right?
That's true.
But the people who are really making the billions of dollars, you never see them.
Because
they in the suits.
Yeah.
They live in somewhere. You never see them. They never.
Because they're the ones who are the cause of the war. They're the ones who created the war because it was a business deal. It was a...
Well, as long as you keep everyone divided.
True.
Then you could conquer all. Though everyone's divided except for this tier level. They're together. And they're dividing everything else, whether it be white, black, East Coast, West Coast, Democrat, Republican,
so
Chinese, Korean, whatever.
The control we think we have on that level is nowhere near the control they have up here.
Yeah. Because they easily can come in and just say, East Coast, West Coast, go get them.
And then,
which is what happened.
Yeah, you're right. And then it created, though it had success, the ending killed 2 young black men. At that time, 1996, Tupac get killed in Vegas, September. And then a year later, in March, Biggie gets killed in L.A. Both unsolved. One's solved. I mean, I know about one of them. But yeah, both unsolved, but all caused by what you just said. It was influenced by those who had nothing to actually do with the music themselves.
And 2 very good dudes. I didn't know Biggie, but I hear he was a really good dude.
Yeah.
And I know Pac was a good dude. But just the influence of the outside for other people's agendas, they were used.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they let themselves be used.
That's true.
You know, we always miss that. We got to take responsibility for ourselves at some point. Because Pac wasn't no dummy.
Yeah, no, he was smart and calculated too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would talk about Pac's ability to strategically play chess. He played chess a lot. And he won, sometimes he didn't. Unfortunately, in this situation, he did. And you know, it's crazy. The biggest forces were at play in that industry. Media, the street culture, And then
The record labels.
the record labels. Those are the ones nobody wants to actually talk about. Not Diddy and Suge Knight. We're talking about the one Butler.
Big Dad, I mean, not Big Daddy, Bad Boy.
Bad Boy. Yeah.
Bad Boy and Death Row Records are subsidiaries smaller
To a Sony or
to a
it used to
big-
go. Yeah. Jimmy Iovine was over
Interscope.
and then at that time Diddy had a deal with Universal or Sony, I believe,
No, I think it was with Clive Davis.
which was Clive was at so many different companies, J Records. I mean, you name it. It was one of the bigger subsidiaries, but they are the ones who benefit from the media attention, the street culture, the album sales. And when you take a look at the industry in general, a lot of artists don't understand how they get paid.
Yeah.
And these dudes wasn't even able to do what most guys do now, tour, do events and parties and get paid and
Oh, you know, because of
brand, yeah.
the West Coast.
Yeah, you couldn't even tour.
Yeah.
You know, I think Pop toured a lot just on the West Coast, but when he went to the East Coast, it was like you gotta look over your shoulder, and vice versa for Biggie.
Yeah.
Hence why he got killed
Well, you got killed in the West Coast.
in the West Coast. A lot of people are saying the Bloods are the ones who put the hit on Biggie, you know, from Suge's camp. But who knows?
Yeah.
The rivalry was unnecessary, but
Yeah.
it created where we go into the legacy. Where do you feel like the legacy of Tupac and Biggie's, how does it define hip hop today?
Well, I don't think it does at all. Because hip hop today, I don't even call it hip hop. What we hear today is not hip hop.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
That's what we call rap music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You say a rapper. When I think of a rapper, I think of something you take on a piece of candy, you take the wrapper, you throw it in the trash. That's what a rapper is.
Yeah, literally. That's that right. Go to rapper.
It's not hip hop. We don't hear hip hop today.
So in that same metaphor and analogy, if you take a rapper and you throw it in the trash, its lifespan is very fast. It's quick.
Yeah.
It's instant satisfaction,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't last long.
Yeah, that's why it's trash.
Hip hop is a culture
Yeah.
because it goes from generation to generation to generation. So I'm on the side of, I feel like their influence helped the culture of hip hop, but I don't feel like the legacy stands for as much as what the media tries to say it is, even though they have great music that has lasted. But I felt like at 23, there wasn't enough for you to have a legacy. There was so much more that could have been done, you know, like even with Nipsey Hussle and so many other artists who have lost their lives. But I don't feel like you can say it's a legacy.
No.
To me.
No. You talk about the legacy of hip hop.
Or their legacy in general.
Yeah, I don't think the legacy goes to an individual. I think that's for them and their individual families.
Yeah.
But hip hop on a whole, I think it's still being written.
Yeah. I do believe Biggie did influence Jay-Z in some ways. I mean, you know, some people say, but Jay-Z bit a lot of his lyrics. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, Jay-Z's style comes from Big Daddy Kane.
Yes, I agree.
Now that's hip hop.
Yeah.
Big Daddy.
Definitely hip hop.
Yeah.
Definitely hip hop. Now, who would be the Big Daddy Kane of the West Coast?
We don't have a Big Daddy Kane.
Exactly. I'm like, who? I would say personally, I know you might not agree, but this is your hometown hero. I feel like Too Short because his legacy still lives.
He's definitely not a Big Daddy Kane.
No, he's not a lyricist, but he's a showman. And Big Daddy Kane was a showman.
No, Big Daddy Kane was a lyricist.
And a showman.
Yeah.
Like, he has a legacy. He had a persona.
A showman would be like MC Hammer. He's a showman.
Yeah.
Too Short, not a showman.
Okay.
He's talked a lot of, you know. I know you see him. Well, MC Hammer's the showman.
Yeah, but terrible lyricist. But he danced, he entertained.
Who would be a lyricist?
Yeah, I really want to know.
Ice Cube's a lyricist.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we cannot.
Ice-T is a lyricist.
Very, very deep thought. Yeah.
What's his name?
West Coast.
Hello, DOC's a lyricist.
Okay,
He from down south.
so I like the new age lyricists on the West Coast, like Game. Like he's one of my favorites.
I like Gang.
Like I feel like Game stand
Well, Tupac definitely influenced like Game, and anybody who comes out like with that delivery,
Yeah,
Tupac influenced them.
I agree.
Kendrick Lamar, his whole camp.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Because of the Dre, I call it the Dre tree. Anybody that comes from the tree of Dre has that DNA of Tupac, because that tree of Dre produced so many. I mean, we cannot forget about the most prolific lyricists on the West Coast. And I'm so surprised we didn't even bring him up. Snoop.
See, I disagree.
See, man, first of all, there's no lyricist on this planet that can hang with Snoop from the old days even to now, because if you put his lyrics up against, I'm talking Murder Was the Case, I'm talking Dog You Were.
What you talking about on the West Coast?
I'm talking, you put Snoop up against some East Coast cats, and he would,
Come on, man.
dude. There was a versus battle between Snoop and DMX. Not saying Snoop was better, but in some of their neck-to-neck songs, Snoop had
Listen,
hands down. Come on, man. I can't believe you trying to say Snoop.
you must be too young. You gonna tell me Snoop can go against Nas?
No,
That's not even.
That's like putting up a pair
Snoop
of
can't even go against Eminem.
That's like putting up a pair of
Partner,
Jordans.
Snoop can't even go against Eminem. Snoop can't go against Rakim. Big Daddy can't. It's not even a contest.
I guess I'm used to. See, I'm talking about Snoop before he helped the case.
Snoop can't even go against Pop.
Oh my God! Wow. And this is why I love this platform, because.
Or Biggie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Come on, Biggie's one of the best storytellers ever.
Snoop is the only dude who has done songs with every single one of those people you name and still holds his own. He never gets on a song as a feature and you feel like, oh, Snoop didn't shine. Every single feature. Bone, Nod. Snoop has done, he's worked with everybody.
Yeah, because he's a good, nice guy. He's easy to work with, probably.
No, he hasn't always been easy.
And he's popular.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a great...
but for you to say Snoop,
this is going to be
that's ridiculous.
Guys, this is going to be such a great podcast because we got so much in store for you for this first season. Look, I believe that this may need a part 2. That's just my personal opinion. You tell me. You think this needs a part 2?
No. Because nobody's going to agree with you.
Oh my God.
Come on, man. Snoop is popular.
Oh my God.
He's not, he can't hold a candle to any of them dudes that I just told you.
Man, I'm listening to the Martha Stewart of hip hop right here.
No.
Down in one of the goats.
Snoop is not a GOAT.
Oh my God. Okay.
He's not a GOAT.
All right. So no part 2. But we go
because that's crazy.
All right. So I wanna just say I feel like this was a great start to our season that we got coming up. We got some dope debates and dope battles, as I would call it, coming up.
Well, down the you keep talking about Snoop.
Oh my God.
It's one of the greatest of all.
We're gonna let the people choose in this episode. When I post this episode, make sure you guys comment. I'm going to put a poll when I post.
Is Snoop the greatest of all time?
I didn't say of everything.
No.
I said as a West Coast lyricist, can he hold his own? Is Snoop on the top 5 at least? Rest my case. There it is.
He's not.
All right, we're gonna let the people decide. It ain't gonna change your opinion, but we gonna let the people decide.
Snoop Dogg ain't coming for Kendrick Lamar right now.
Oh my God! Now we really gotta shut it down. Oh Jesus Christ!
No.
Oh my
We
goodness.
got Ice-T, Ice Cube.
Man, you talking about Law and Order
Yeah.
and no Vaseline? Yeah, Snoop's not better than Q. I would agree, but I'm putting Snoop at the top.
DLC.
Man, I'm putting.
Do you know what the DLC is?
I know what the DLC is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
He
not as
wrote,
old as y'all.
he wrote most of the Chronic.
Yeah, look,
Okay.
you
Classic album. The Formula.
listen, y'all. We gonna agree to disagree, and
No,
we just
they
gonna
don't disagree.
what we gonna say is this: you guys not gonna want to miss our next episode. We gonna jump into the boardroom next week, and we're gonna talk about Nike versus Adidas. That's a rivalry that I believe has not been discussed enough. Both still around, both still holding their own. But we're going to really go into the sneaker war that has never stopped.
Okay.
That's a legacy.
People don't know the origins of both.
And we're going to go right into it. Which one are you going to stand behind? Because I already know where I'm going. I'm going with checks. I don't like stripes. Stripes feel like prison.
Well, they were.
They were. The origins of it. Hey, we're going to go right into it, but you guys are not going to want to miss it. But I just want to say, look, thank you guys for checking out our first episode. Real quick story before we wrap this one up, because, this isn't a structured script. The crazy part of how we met is he was always going to our gym here in Charlotte. And I'm not going to tell y'all, but y'all going to try to join our membership, get to know who we are and see what class we go. Nah, just but no, I seen him at the gym and I was like, man, I know this dude from. And he found me on Google and booked me to come and do a dinner for his wife's mom and dad and the family, and everybody came, and I made beef Wellington. And he didn't trust me the whole time before. And then I came in the house and I think I wowed you.
But see, hey, we're still working on the trust. We're still working on the trust.
Man, listen, if you get to know Fonz, listen, you'll know this guy right here will put you through the ringer. But we're going to lock in on this podcast, and we're going to show our personality. We're going to show why it's important to have a perspective. His perspective matters, my perspective matters. But our goal is to convey, if you just listen to each other, communication can really go a long way. And that's what this podcast is about, is showing that you can listen.
That's what Tupac and Biggie should have did. Came together as men.
Yeah, because they were friends first before anybody else got involved. And that's what happens when you let other people influence your decisions. It can go tragic, or it can mess up your bag. We'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you check us out at Rivals Podcast on Instagram, at Rivals Podcast on YouTube. We'll post the whole thing. This is the first one, so you guys should feel honored that y'all are in our presence. Because these light-skinned men are going to be talking some ish. Well, we see y'all on the next one. Thank y'all for watching.